In 1999, we were amazed to find ourselves moving to Nebraska from the East Coast, where we were born, raised, and had started our professional careers. We often joke that when we moved to Nebraska, it felt that we were loading up our covered wagon and crossing the frontier to uncharted territory. In fact, we were loading up the Saab wagon with 2 young children and a constantly meowing Siamese cat. The first time I laid eyes on Ken Cowan was at a patient conference at the National Cancer Institute. The attending physician was speaking about the patients with about 10 young men, the fellows, all sitting in a circle, wearing crisp white coats and looking very serious. But there was one guy with no tie and no white coat, sort of lounging on a couch in the room, and he seemed to be challenging a lot of what the attending doctor was saying, but in a polite way, as Ken does. And I thought, this guy is either crazy or he's really brilliant. And plus, he's kind of cute. So with that introduction, we spent the summer in the laboratories, not really connecting until the Christmas party about 6 months later. And we re-met. And of course, everybody looks better when you've had a little alcohol, right? So it was then that we started dating. And the rest, of course, is history. Ken spent about 21 years at the National Cancer Institute, where he was a fellow, that is specializing in oncology. And then he rose through the ranks to become the head of the breast cancer section there. And he was in the public health service, which I consider the unarmed branch of the military. And he ended up thinking after about 20 years or so that it was time to move on and, as I say, get a real job. And so he started looking at positions as cancer center director, and I had no idea what that meant. But I said, sure, honey, whatever you want. And one day he came home and he told me he wanted to move to Omaha, Nebraska. When he got home from the Nebraska interview, there was such an enthusiasm about him and a light in his eyes that I knew indicated he was really excited and serious. During this time, I would credit Dr. Moorer, and in Dr. Moorer, Ken really found a partner and a supporter. One of the greatest surprises that we found on coming to Nebraska was the relationship that Ken would build with the Cattlemen's Association of Nebraska, who put on the Cattlemen's Ball on a different ranch across Nebraska every year, with 90% of the proceeds going to support cancer research at the University of Nebraska and 10% staying within each community. This relationship has proven to be one of the strongest and most joyous, I'd say, of Ken's career. At one of these Cattlemen's Balls, Ken was giving his usual talk about the ongoing cancer research efforts. And while he was speaking, a group of cowboys sitting in the front row started laughing. And he couldn't quite figure out why, since most of what he was saying was quite serious. But when he was finished, he took one of his friends aside and said, "What was so funny? I was talking only about cancer research," and it happened to be Mr. Timmerman, as a matter of fact, who said to him, "Well, Doc, your hat's on backwards." And sure enough, Ken was wearing his cowboy hat the wrong way. And since then, I've gotten him a hat, and he's put a little F for the front and a B for the back in the hat so that he will not wear it backwards. When we came here, Ken had great ideas for the Cancer Center. But it takes more than ideas. You have to have the right place and the right people. And that's what we found in Nebraska. We as a family want to thank the people of Nebraska and the people of UNMC. We want to acknowledge the staff, the researchers, the physicians, nurses, and everyone else who contributes to this place. We want to thank the doctors and leaders who joined with Ken in this tremendous quest. Ken's ideas could not have been realized anywhere else but right here in Nebraska. Thank you.